Protoss player. The countdown has started. I'm Maddles, with me is Lurlian. We could be having a victor this game, or will we see the Zerg level it out? Any predictions, Lurlian?
Judging from last game, their skill is super close to each other.
Yep.
So it could be anyone's game.
It could be. So let's introduce these two players spawning down in the bottom right position. We have the red Protoss. It's Sjaak. Now, in the top left, we've got the blue Zerg. He's currently 0-1 down, so I think the audience should really get behind him now. Give him a cheer, give him that confidence he needs. It is This Game Suck.
Yeah, he does not want to go back to Sweden empty-handed. No. He wants to finish, I believe, top 4, get prize money, or top 5. So he wants to advance a little bit further to be able to grab himself a bit of a prize pool here. And something I wanted to point out, Maddles, is the fact that Sjaak has got a pretty easy name to pronounce for you. You're pretty lucky. Sjaak is a really Dutch name. Yep. He could have called himself something like Michiel.
I'm not even going to try that. Okay?
And you would never be able to pronounce
that. I'm
that.
not even going to try and pronounce that because I'll make a fool of myself in front of all these lovely people, in front of you. It just wouldn't be good.
It's a shame I don't have a difficult name with a lot of action going on.
No,
there.
see, Lurlian was fine. The secret to saying Lurlian's name is you do it in an Irish accent, and you can manage it as speaking English. It's really easy. So here we go. We've got a spawning pool coming out first, all very normal. A hatchery first is a very bold move on any map. Interestingly, is the Sjaak's going for a pylon on the low ground. Belshir is typically one of those maps where Protoss players go for a one-gate expand against Zerg because it's
almost always.
Almost always, yeah. I'm trying to think of games recently I've cast where they haven't, and
it happens a lot.
It does, and actually going, oh wow.
Something you have to be careful on maps like this and Daybreak, when you're a new Protoss player and you're like, I'll just emulate the pros and get my pylon down there and then make a wall up. If you put your pylon just 1 hex back from where Sjaak put it, it's blocking your nexus. And I have to admit, I've had that a few times on ladder when I was forge expanding on Daybreak, and I was like, my pylon's in the way of my nexus.
That's the thing, you never normally take a natural base.
Ha ha ha.
So anyway, we're sitting here now. It wasn't Nexus first out of Sjaak. That is a really bold move, going Nexus first on this map. So will it pay off for him? We'll wait and see. There's 4 Zerglings coming out. What this game Suck really needs to do is take his third really quite quickly. The Overlord has come in. He's aware that the natural base is down. There was that there was a quick Nexus. So the third base should be taken very soon. And that's actually going to come down at about the 355 mark, which is a nice point to get it. Nothing too concerning about that. If you've got a Nexus first opponent, then obviously you want to get that third as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah.
2 gases being taken here by Sjaak as well. Everything going, well,
Wings of Liberty.
Wings of Liberty.
Everything going Wings of Liberty so far. No Mothership cores on the field yet, no weird strategies involving new Zerg stuff. Just a very straight up game as we would have seen in Wings of Liberty. And judging by that, we could see something like an Immortal Sentry all-in on this map. Even though it's not the best map to do it on, it's also not the worst. I mean, there's a lot of open area between the natural and the third, which is something you don't like to see when you're Immortal Sentry all-inning. It's not as good as, for example, Cloud Kingdom.
But there's a really nice area you can actually move in between the natural and third base.
That's really close.
You can get in there, you can cut off reinforcements, and it can be really tough, especially with good force fields. And so, Immortal Sentry, we actually saw that done. I believe it was you I was casting with at WCS Challenger.
We've seen
about
the
2 weeks ago.
all-ins. Yeah,
they've been really popular, especially on Belshir. So I wouldn't be surprised. We've got the +1 coming down as well here for the Protoss player, which is early signs of it. So we'll have to wait to see if a robotic facility comes down. The other thing is you can go Stargate on this map. You've got the entrance into the main base, a bit of dead space around it. It's plausible to have that happen. So I think either of those are doable. Sjaak, he may even just stick with what worked game 1.
He might, but it barely worked. If his opponent finds out like half a second earlier, he might do something else. But there's the Stargate in a very creative spot here by Sjaak. If an Overlord would be there, would be able to instantly see it. The Zerglings do not see that. There's no Overlord nearby to really spot that. The Overlord, who's currently spotting for this game Suck, is in the main base. And he's not moving anywhere.
No.
And the last place he would move would be there.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect a Stargate there for a start. And I actually really like the Stargate, and it's why I brought it up earlier, because I think against this sort of opening, when you've got a Nexus first, a Zerg player is going to be really greedy. He's going to come in and see the +1 researching in addition to that, and that's straight away going to make you produce quite a lot of roaches and Zerglings in anticipation for some ground push. The Overlord is getting chipped away at. We can see now that we do have additional gateways being added on. Is the Overlord going to be able to say no? It is not on the correct path to spot this. It's just going to see the additional gateway, which can be a bit tough, and Void Ray coming in.
Oh, okay.
I haven't seen
this is also looking like a very Wings of Liberty build.
Yep.
It used to be the meta game for so long to make 4 gateways, make Void Rays, make proxy pylons, get a Warp Prism, sometimes if you got a Robo with that, and just keep on reinforcing Zealots, and Void Rays to deal with the Roaches, and Zealots to deal with the Queens and the Zerglings. And that is exactly what Sjaak is going for by the looks of it. Where is he going to send his first Void Ray though? Is it going to go Overlord hunting, or is he going to hide it?
We'll have to wait and see. He's got the Mothership Core there as well, and that's actually really beneficial, because if things don't go to plan, there's the mass recall, and you get to keep up a lot of the army. Zealots are somewhat throwaway, but the Void Rays, you really need to keep them up. If they go down to the Queens, a counter-attack from Roaches is going to kill you. Almost certainly. So in comes a lot of Zerglings here to the Zealots. The Zealots do have +1 though, remember, so they 2-shot those Zerglings. This is going to make this push quite strong. There's a single Spine Crawler there. Where is the Void Ray? Coming up at the back. Prismatic Alignment can get activated whenever. Currently the Void Ray focusing the Zerglings, which is not ideal, but this is just going to be enough to force this game suck back for the moment. A Queen getting caught out of position off creep. That's going to force Roaches to come in and try and help it, but...
And Queens are vital against this Mattles. You need the Queens to snipe the Void Ray, and the Void Ray is now moving forward. It has used Prismatic Alignment, so it should focus down as many Roaches as possible. It's actually going to go for the Queen. He knows he's just sniped the Queen, so there will not be many out on the field. How many Queens do we have left out on the field? Only 1 Queen left. So this Void Ray is going to reign supreme in the air. A second Void Ray is about to join up with the army. The second Void Ray is actually idle in the middle of the map. Really needs to bring that up to his first Void Ray and start working away at units.
Yeah, there we go. So he's bringing that second Void Ray up. This is where things get really quite problematic. We do have a second Queen out on the field now. That's going to force the Void Ray back for the moment. But these Roaches just sitting out in the middle, they can get focused down. But this is what I was talking about. The counter-attack can potentially be quite devastating, especially when the third Nexus just got started. If this game suck goes down there, he can definitely force a cancel on that. But he's going straight for the natural at the moment. And the pylon wall off won't go down in time. The Speedlings are coming straight up into the main base, Lurlian.
That's not good. That's a horror situation right now for Sjaak. He's pulling his probes, but where does he have to pull them? Because there's units everywhere. He used Time Warp, so he didn't have a mass recall available to get his units back home. And these Zerglings are doing massive amounts of damage, bringing up the worker kill tab. We can see it's already up to 11 workers killed. And of course, we have the third base down behind this for this game suck. So he's got a pretty good economy and has been able to kill so much here. The probes now being forced to fight, and even more of them are falling. The probe count, 15 workers killed now. That is sick.
That is pretty damn good, and as we can see, 64 drones to 38 probes, and so much lost mining time. The income at the moment for Sjaak,
probes, where are you going?
Sjaak's only getting he's lost all of his mining time for that entire duration. He pulled all of his probes, so that's going to put him in a difficult spot. We've got Hydras and Infestors going to be following this up, or an Infestation Pit. Hive getting started straight away. These Void Rays, Hydras are the best way to deal with the Void Rays. There's also no robotics facility, because obviously from the Stargate tech, that means that no Colossi, those Hydras aren't going to get tested. Hydras really shred through Void Rays, much better than Corruptors do. Corruptors get annihilated because they're armored. This is a good response from
It's a really good response, and we're going to have to see a Robo soon out of Sjaak, but Sjaak's economy is so low. He does have that third base, though. It was counted by this game suck, so he could just go in for another crisp timing here. He is also getting a Hive, so he's getting ready to go into Vipers if needed.
Yep.
But I don't even think there's a Robo out, is there?
No, there's no Robo.
And we're seeing +1 get research for Protoss air weapons. He's investing his gas right now in air upgrades in favor of getting Colossi tech, which is going to be problematic to say the least versus those Hydras.
Okay, let's think about this logically now. What are the options available to Sjaak? I'd say the big thing that he could do, especially getting that +1 air weapons, is transition into Skytoss. But for that to happen, he needs to add more Stargates, and as I say that, another Stargate to get thrown down. And he needs a Fleet Beacon too. He needs to be going full Skytoss, and he needs to survive in order to get that down. It takes a long period of time to get it out, but if you can get there, it's really problematic for a Zerg to deal with. But he's got to get time inside. Vipers now coming into this mix. We've got the Twilight Council ready to go into Templar Archives to get the High Templar out, ready to storm. It's a death ball army, but you need to survive for another 10 minutes.
Yeah,
No.
that's right. He needs to survive for another 10 minutes. Just leave me alone on my 3 bases and
No
I'll be
rush,
fine.
20 minute, okay?
Yeah. Something like that would be able to save him. But other than that, it's going to be extremely difficult. This game suck. He's not expanded. He's going to hit that crisp timing I was talking about. He knows he's done crippling damage to his opponent. He knows a follow-up attack might very well kill him. He'll probably drop down the 4th base as he's moving out to have a follow-up ready.
Well, look at this. He's got 16 more roaches. Muscular Augment's just kicked in. Hydra speed. He's already got Groove Spine as well, and +1. He's going to max, which is very, very nearby, and just walk across the map. The Hallucinated Phoenix, you get actually quite a good look. See something's going down. There's the Templar Archive, so yeah, definitely a Skytoss-style transition trying to come in here, but...
He's trying, but will he be given enough time by our Swedish Zerg? That is the big question right now. Sjaak needs to make a miracle defense work here. He does have a Mothership core, and it does have full energy, so the time warps are available, the Photon Overcharge is available, but what he really needs is AoE damage, and he's just now getting the Robotics Bay. That is so late, he doesn't have any AoE damage. I hate to say it, but
look at those abducts too.
Chance.
Brilliant abduct, straight away, grabbing some of those Voidways. They get focused down so quickly, and GG.
GG.